Beast.
Or as we say in Leicester, I am a duck.
I've come to visit Marty. Been to my mum's, had my Sunday dinner, and popped in to have a chat, and we've been talking about a few things, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We've been shooting the breeze, talking quite a bit. And yeah, I'm only down the road from Lee's mum and dad in Darlaston.
3 miles.
I'm in Wednesbury.
Yeah, 3 miles down the road.
Married to Jane, a Black Country person. And so been in the West Midlands a few years now. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking on as the what can we say, the rollout of
the old,
you know what we mean.
you know what we're talking.
And
the rollout of it, yeah.
We were looking at the fact that the first lady who took the inoculation is a lady called Maureen. What was her surname?
Oh, it was.
I wrote it down here somewhere.
It was quite strange, wasn't it?
I've lost it.
Something like all well, or something like that.
Oh, here we are.
Okay.
Margaret Keenan.
Keenan, okay.
Keenan. She's a keen nan of 90 who is quite keen for the old.
Yeah.
And you can't make this stuff up. The day after, the second person to receive on December the 9th was a chap called William Shakespeare from Staffordshire, living about 20 miles from Stratford-on-Avon. Now, are we really led to believe that this is just a random person they've picked, or do these names have significance? They are subliminally saying something through these names.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, the name, it just means it's theatre.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, there's 2 ways of always looking at this. You can either say, as I've said before, it's they're genuine. There's nothing nefarious or strange about this. It's a bit of a mess. It's a political mess what they've done. Or you can say there is something sinister behind it, and it is a plan. And I think it is. I think these people.
Yeah.
This has been worked out long ago, and the reason I believe that is because there's just too many coincidences. You can brush 1 or 2 things off as a coincidence, but when they keep happening over and over and over and over again,
right.
Yeah, you can't. And when you read up on it and you understand how these people operate and always have done, then you can see, as Martin says, it's theatre. It's as if they're mocking you. They're deliberately taking the mickey. So, you know, we're giving them a bunch of theatre. These idiots buying it up line and sinker. They're believing it. Let's call him William Shakespeare. Now, again, he may well be a genuine man. I mean, there's been conjecture.
Actually, with that name?
Yeah. Well.
Possibly. It's possible, but they'd have to find such a person.
Yes,
because how many William Shakespeares are there in the country?
There can't be that many, can there?
Yeah, exactly.
There can't be that many. But it's definitely, it's part of a production. This is a play, and we're the audience, or audience participants. We've been pulled into it, yeah.
And then you had, on the Piers Morgan show, Matt Hancock on, talking about these 2 people and giving a few crocodile tears and laughing. He was laughing at certain points in that interview. He's a very cold, clinical person, and really bizarre stuff.
Again, I agree with my gut feeling. And just it's phony, it's fake, they all and there's nothing sincere about these people. And I know some people are easily taken in. This is why con men exist and make a good living, because you can con people, and people are quite easily conned. But there's just something about these characters, and the insincerity reeks, and this isn't real. This the playing parts, and it's fake. It's these people, their emotions are fake. What Marty says, the crocodile tears, whoa, whoa, and he's laughing. It's just really, really bizarre. And it comes down to what I've said before in other videos, is that it's a well-known fact. You know, it's you don't need to be a psychiatrist to understand how certain things work, because it's obvious and it's simple. But people who are psychopaths and sociopaths, they do tend to gravitate to these positions. It's not always the case. Not always the case, because I mean you've got people like Harold Shipman. You know, but even then, as a doctor, he had authority, he had power, he had a position where most people tugged the forelock and wouldn't question him, which allowed him to do his evil. But politicians, I'm not tying them all with the same brush, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it seems to attract people that have got this lust for power and control over other people, and
people
lack of
have
empathy.
been drooling over Bill Gates's power of the vaccine, isn't it? I mean, Jane used to say in the early days, when I would be talking that this is planned, these people, and she'd be saying, well, Marty, who are they? And it's a good question. And the reality is, there is this 1%. There are these very powerful, wealthy families, and you can name some of them. The Bushes are one clear example of a president of the United States, father and son. And Herbert W. Bush was also head of the CIA when Kennedy was assassinated, JFK. You got the DuPont family, the Rothschild family, the Rockefeller family. I would imagine our own royal family, to some extent, are involved in that. And then you've got the big billionaires, the George Soroses and the Bill Gates and these sorts of people. They're involved. And these people are usually in secret societies, often Freemasons, but other types like Skull and Bones, Illuminati, all sorts of globalist and secret societies who are Luciferian in nature. And these people put things out in the media of what they're going to do through books and through TV and film. And they put things out which are real and which are going to come to pass. And they put it out there because of their twisted view of karma, of if we inform people what they're going to do, we're not responsible if they don't understand what we're doing.
Yeah, we've told them.
We've told them, yeah. So consequently, you get all manner of strange stuff going on with dates and times. This whole thing, as we've said, is like it's like a satanic ritual that is being played out. Yeah. Satanists put the masks on, and when they're doing their sacrifices and stand 6 feet apart. This all began in the spring equinox. In June the 15th, they announced the wearing of masks for transport, buses, trains, shops, all these sorts of places. And on that date is significant because it's the nearest thing we have. The Magna Carta was signed in 1215, June the 15th. And it's the nearest thing of a constitution that the UK has, that people are free people and that they can go about conducting their business peacefully and they can travel freely, and they can gather, and all these things. So they're mocking us by these particular dates. Another example was the rule of 6, which was given on the 9th of the 9th, which is 2 9s, inverted 6s. Satanists always do things back to front, inverted. Yeah. So 9th of the 9th, the rule of 6, 6, 6, 6. And after that was given, with the rule of 6, they said you had to stand 6 feet apart and it would last for 6 months. How utterly bizarre is that? So you had a 666, another 666, and then I could see in mid-September, I said to people I knew, keep your eye upon October the 31st, Halloween, and it's more than likely they will announce something important or bring in the second lockdown. And exactly on 31st of October, Halloween, bang, the second lockdown Boris announced, which would come in the following Monday, or whenever it was, briefly after that. But he announced it on that very day. And then after that, towards the end of November, Matt Hancock was saying, we're going to roll it out for December, and we're going to work around the clock. The army will be involved, and we'll hopefully get it all done by December 21st, which is the winter solstice, another big point of announcement within their calendar. And I wouldn't be surprised, this whole thing flows on for a full year of this whole ritual for a yearly ritual of something that they're doing, and they're now well into this situation. So this is who these people are, this is what we're dealing with. And the strange thing is, you think when you look at a film or something, you put that on for relaxation, or just watch a film. Little do you realise you may well get a dose of truth within it, and you put the news on thinking you're going to get truth, when in actual fact you get lies.
That's perfectly right.
So yeah.
But also with films as well. I mean, I discovered a long time ago that Hollywood, if you've heard, if a name is a household name and you've heard of it, then it's probably one of them. Because otherwise they just wouldn't be allowed into the club.
Well, that's it.
Again, I wouldn't say every single one, of course not, but it's a trend, and what the directors do in films, they give you little messages. It's all this predictive programming. They're getting you used and softening up to accept things. You're seeing stuff on films which is actually being played out, and it's as if when it's being played out, because you've already seen it on a couple of films over the last few years or the last decade or whatever, you're used to it. You know where it's going to go. Right, at this point, we trust the government because I can remember them doing it on such and such film, and it's amazing how you can control people like that. But again, I now such thing as coincidence, or very, very few coincidences. This is all planned out. It's on dates. I'm making a bit of a joke about it, but the satanic ritual costume. So I don't have to say the word, but it is ritual. It's making the people play the part. You'll put this on and you'll play the part, and it's, to me, I sense it's evil. Somebody else won't. They'll say, well, stick it on, it's only something around your face to go to the supermarket. But I'll see it more deeply than that. There's something unsavoury, satanic and horrible about it, and I can't just see it as something to put over your face. It's ritual costume, and it's something I can't go along with.
Absolutely. Another one is George Orwell's book 1984. Now, he knew more than he made out. 1984 was written in 1948, and you may know about it. The dystopian future situation in England, in London, and Big Brother is watching, thought police, all these sorts of things. If you just take the numbers 1984 and add it all together, 1 and 9 is 10, plus 8, 18, plus 4 is 22. Stick 2 zeros in, and what have you got? 2020.
Yeah.
Did he know it was coming in 2020? Has it been planned for so long?
Well, we can't say for sure, but from all the evidence that you see, again, it's making pieces of the jigsaw puzzle fit to get a bigger picture. And sometimes you can, I freely admit, you can go for flights of fantasy and you're seeing stuff that probably isn't there.
Yeah.
But more often than not, this is actually forming a picture.
And there's probably more of this than we actually have fathomed. We're only talking about things we've cottoned onto and
what we've experienced as
and seen.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of other stuff that's there, they've put out, that we've not even seen yet.
It's definitely generational. This isn't something that they're going to cook up in a couple of years and push it through like you plan and build a skyscraper. This is something that goes back and back and back and back, and it's been slowly building, and the pieces have been put in place until everything lines up, and then voila, we can push it. We can, you know, I think now's the time. I don't know whether it's been tried in the past, perhaps, and not worked out, but this is what we're seeing is it's not coincidence, and it's nothing to do with it. It can't be, can it? Not at this stage. And this is what I can't figure out about people. I freely admit I'm not a particularly smart man, you know, but why can't everybody see this? Because it's obvious. It's laid out right in front of you. You haven't got to look through it. You haven't got to try and cherry pick and find stuff that suits your own personal prejudice or agenda. It's all there to see. You know, I mean, like I say, I don't watch the television, not the mainstream news, but Mum and Dad do, and when I visit and I have it on, I'm thinking, why can't you see this is a pantomime? This is you know, it's theatre. People just aren't waking up to it, and that's the scary thing. That's why it's working. Yeah.
And of course, that is a big question. You know, why people can't discern.
It comes down to
fathom, realise,
about being under
admit.
a spell. It's kind of a spell.
It's like a hypnotic spell.
It's worked with some people, but not others.
Yeah.
So, should we leave it there then, Martin?
I think we'll leave it.
Okay then. What do we say?
We say God bless.
God bless.
God bless.